Hey everyone, I am Sister Lila and welcome to my memory. So, time for a trip down memory lane.
So, I'm finally doing something I've been meaning to for ages. White Dwarf retrospectives! So this battered old copy of White Dwarf White Dwarf 343 from July 2008 was my first copy of White Dwarf, and I think my first hobby purchase. That or maybe an Apoca 3. No, it was this. Yeah, instead of getting a free miniature, because I didn't know those were a thing, I bought an Apoca 3 back before I'd actually got into the hobby proper. I was a big Dawn of War player first, and then, well, I was big into Dawn of War, and then decided to get into 40k, and got an Apoca 3 because I wanted to make a Warhammer-themed cake for myself. If I'd known they handed out free miniatures, I would have gone for that. But yes, this battered old copy I picked up second-hand at the op shop at the library that I frequented at the time, which, if memory serves, was Knox City Library. Hence the crossed-out tag. They do that with old library material. They'll put a tag through it. They'll put a slash through the barcode to go, this is no longer a library item. So yes, this battered old copy I bought second-hand as an intro to the hobby. So yeah. And as an intro magazine, it's actually not that bad. I mean, it shows some cool stuff. We've got this cool scene where the Eldar and Cadians... is it Cadians fighting Eldar? Yeah, it's Cadians fighting Eldar. Is Creed somewhere in this? I mean, this is 2008, so this is long before Bulgarins were a thing, and long before the new Eldar avatar becomes a thing. They didn't even use the Forge World one. To be fair, I don't know if the Forge World one existed back then. But yes, we've got the kind of intro page showing. We've got a cover picture showing off the cover intact. This one came out alongside the new edition of Warhammer 40k, or should I say 5th edition 40k. I would get into the game a few months... Well, I'd get into the game I think in 2010. Didn't start playing until 11. Or was it 2009 that I bought the book? I don't remember that I bought Dark Vengeance. But yes. So yeah, there was a battle report between Space Marines and Loyalists, Ultramarines, and then there's showing off various armies, showing off some new releases. We have the Collector's Edition, because there's always been a Collector's Edition, it seems, that also came with all manner of tokens and turn markers and stuff. Remember when GW used clear plastic for counters and markers? I mean, I think they've brought that back for Necromunda and Titanicus. But yeah, they killed that with 8th edition. But yeah, and they also did a limited run laser pointer for working out targets. Or working out line of sights. It was the old Moonscape set, Apocalypse Reloaded. Remember when they did reasonably priced ballista packs that were good for building up armies or working out colour schemes for an army? Yeah, be nice if they did that again. I miss this set. This set was useful. We have the old Citadel battle mat. I still kind of wish I'd bought that. Would be really useful, even though it's plain. We've got cred sets. We've got limited availability, cold one nights, whatever that is. We have a full two-page ad for Forge World, showing off some Titans and some Imperial Armour books. Back when those were new, potentially. We have some more Black Library releases. We have a new Games Workshop store that opened up in New South Wales. Wonder if that's still around. I'll have on screen whether or not it is. Some event that was happening, Dark Elder Codex or Army Bundle, the Emperor. We have Ultramarines versus Tyranids, because of course we do. Kind of Warhammer edition without Ultramarines. And we have some stuff about intro games, saying that it's perfectly okay to use a box and some books as your terrain. Look at things now where it comes with terrain in the starter set, but at a greater cost. We've got Chaos versus Eldar, and then we've got Dark Angels versus Tau. On a really neat piece of terrain. I wonder if they've still got that in the studio somewhere and are using it for battle reports, because it was a neat piece of terrain. Yeah, we've got talking about how the rules have changed, how line of sight works and so on. Hey, some Black Templars. It's nice to see some non-Ultramarines. Some Raven Guard, talking about the new objective marker, the new game accessory marker things. Then we've got Apocalypse. Hey, it's Calgar's Land Raider that he can no longer ride in because he's Primaris, and someone in the rules team wants you to use Primaris stuff with only Primaris stuff, and not allow Firstborn into new Primaris vehicles and vice versa. I mean, I can understand Primaris Marines not fitting into Rhinos, but then, if you can fit Centurions into a Land Raider, you can fit Primaris Marines into a Land Raider. We've got a whole lot of Australian stuff from that. I think that's the studio members' army who set that stuff up for the narrative campaign that GW did, relating to Cities of Death. And we've got this cool multi-table battle that's got massive force of Ultramarines versus Chaos and Death Guard and who knows what else. We've got a word on Cities of Death. We've got a map of the galaxy and a map of the timeline, some of the events for the current for the 41st millennium. Some word from the authors, talking about the various editions. Codex Space Marine preview. Plus the Dark Vengeance preview. Not Dark Vengeance, Assault on Black Ridge. That was my introduction issue to Warhammer. Hey, Sternguard. We'll take another edition before they get updated. They've got Funkars models before that. Got Jump Pack Orc. Assault on Black Ridge was a great set. I wish they'd bring it. I kind of wish it had come back, but not a monumentally increased price. We have a whole lore section on 40k universe, and we have a battle report over that awesome terrain. I want to make that on the channel someday. Have decent looking Chaos Army. 2000 point, or let's see what size points we are. 1500. Okay. And we have 1500 point Ultramarine list. Decent list. By my understanding, Vindicators couldn't move and shoot. So, as a result, I never took Vindicators. I have one Vindicator that I've yet to finish, partly because I got it second hand without tracks. Actually, no, I got a Rhino second hand without tracks that I swapped the Vindicator parts onto because I liked the Vindicator's extra armour. You see the terrain on display here. I'm just skipping through the battle report because if you can find a copy of this, it's well worth it. Off that terrain, off the bridge, hold the line. Chaos, and of course, Chaos lost. And then we have a rundown of the some of the different factions in the game. So we've got two Horde armies on display in the form of Tyranids versus Guard. We've got Chaos Space Marines and Loyalist Space Marines. We've got Demons and Necrons. Don't suck for the Demons. No psychers for them to possess. You've got Eldar versus Dark Eldar. guess they had an argument over whose interpretation of their great failure that created Slaanesh is correct. You've got the orcs versus the Tau. I feel sorry for the Tau. Although, no, I feel sorry for the Tau. There's just too many orcs there. Although all the orcs are one wound, except maybe the knobs. And then we've got stuff for Warhammer Fantasy, which includes demons. I'm going to breeze over the Slaanesh demons because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show them on YouTube, given YouTube's dislike for boobs. Oops, I said a bad word. But yes, we've got some Dark Angels and Deathwatch together. We've got Traitors and Renegades. Some of those are Forge World models. We've got some more just showing off of different models they did. We have... that's the old Venerable Dreadnought model that used to be a thing. We've got them showing off the new battle mat in a box. Mordor troll painting tutorial. Word on painting workshops and how to paint Citadel models. Painting tutorial for cloaks. Painting tutorial for Elder. Is this showing how to use inks? Or is this using glazing? I think this is glaze. So I think they discontinued the inks in 15. And of course, this being a second-hand copy of White Dwarf, someone else marked it. Marking off what colours they had or wanted. Gotta love previously owned stuff. You've got modelling workshop on battle zones, showing off some of the cool battles that people can set up. That terrain piece I'd love to make some analogue of. One, probably can't do it exactly like that because several of those kits are discontinued. Actually no, all of the kits in that are discontinued. And they're all ridiculously expensive anyway. Like, even the, oh come on, what's it called? The modular terrain set, third-party modular terrain stuff would be too expensive to build that with. And Dana Howell and someone else were fighting each other. We're having, not a fight, but a kind of competition as to who can build their city first. Yes, we've got a base building tutorial. Now, I remember these style of tabletops, from model trains. So, my coming over to Warhammer 40k basically had me coming with background knowledge from model train hobbies, thanks to my late grandfather, who was a model train fanatic, and did his best to get me into model trains, including dragging me into a model train shop as a small child. He still claims I told him to take me in there, but, well, who knows, it's too long ago and he's now no longer alive. Oh well. Age and organ failure. But these things happen. Yes, they even actually suggest using non-GW paints for once. What is this heresy? GW showing off non-GW paints? What is this heresy? They show some scenery with foam board being underneath some of the terrain, so as to just add a bit of a base onto it, which is a neat thing. Like, looking at these battlefields is neat. Look, that's the kind of terrain you'd expect to see these days in Age of Sigmar, except actually all of that terrain I think is still in production, or hardly anything of it, but one of the armies on that table is not. That's got Tomb Kings, and they aren't available. They got completely discontinued. Then you could run Death, you run the models if you have them. So yes, we have Golden Demon. They were still running Golden Demon in Australia at that point. I think they had like the last games day in the early 2010s. Yes, we've got events, calendar, store finder. Yes, because they actually broadcast where stores were. That's kind of, we've got club directory. And this section. Remember when you could get an actual army, a proper starting army, for $150 Australian? Space Marines, you could get 10 Tactical Marines, a Tactical Marine Combat Squad, Scouts, Assault Marines and a Rhino. I mean, sure you need a HQ, but still, that's a fully playable army. Well, almost fully playable. Needs a HQ, but otherwise, like back then, HQs were $20 to $30. Like, that beats the new starter sets by far that are what, 10 infantry models normally with one vehicle and one character, or in the case of the Guard, an infantry squad, a heavy weapons team, not a full heavy weapons squad, but a heavy weapons team that can't be fielded on their own. They have to be fielded in an infantry squad, meaning you lose 2 infantry squad guys. A Commissar and a Lehman Russ. That's a terrible deal. The old Guard one was 2 infantry squads, a heavy weapons squad, a Sentinel, a command squad. That was a Guarder. That was a starting Guard force. I mean, that was a Guard platoon plus Sentinel, but yeah, you've got Chaos, which came with 8 Khorne Berserkers, 15 Chaos Space Marines, 5 Possessed Chaos Space Marines, and a Chaos Rhino. Orcs came with 20 Orc Boys, 3 Orc Warbikes, and an Orc Truck. Eldar came with a pretty sizable force, 8 Guardians, 5 Dire Avengers, 1 Wave Serpent. I think that, were the Dire Avengers plastic? I think they are. 1 War Walker and 1 Guardian Heavy Weapons platform with 2 crew. The Tau one came with a decent army, including a Tau Commander, or Battle Suit, depending on how you want to run it. Tau Pathfinder Squad, no, Tau Battle Suit, Tau Fire Warrior Squad, sorry. Tau 3 Stealth Suits, how many Kroot is that? It says it there. 12 Kroot, 6 Gun Drones, okay, so 12 Fire Warriors, not 10. And a Devilfish. Decent collection. And then, now at the start there was also a bit of a show off on some of the bundles, and then there's this whole you could subscribe thing. Now back near the start, kind of breezed over it, but army bundles from back then, 380 Australian got you 1 Commander, which was a multi-part kit with multiple weapon options. Like, it had almost all the weapon options in there, minus a jump pack and a thunder hammer, and I think a storm shield. And at the time, you could buy those separately, as like a 5 of each per box, per pack kind of thing. 1 command squad, which had an apothecary in it, a banner, company champion, and the bits to arm several marines with special weapons. 20 tactical marines, so 2 tactical marine squads. 2 rhinos for tactical marines to ride in. Had a razorback for the commander and command squad to ride in, and I breezed over entirely. 1 vindicator, 1 whirlwind, and 1 land raider. Comparable battle forces these days don't have anything near that. Certainly not for that price. Then you've got the Space Marine Armoured Strike Force, which is an even bigger force with even more vehicles in it. There's a Tau Force for quite a lot of money. You've got a Tyranid Swarm, Assault Brood, sorry, Renegade Strike Force, and Necron Force, and a Tau Force. All of those on direct only. But yeah, my old copy of White Dwarf, and here's what the damaged back cover looks like. And I figure that's a fun note to end things on. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This has been kind of a trip down memory lane. Like, the old White Dwarves are always fun to read. I've got a whole archive of them thanks to a lucky op shop find back in... Yes, I have a lucky op shop find thanks to my early days in the hobby. This is showing off an old Blood Angels army with, I think, it's the Sanguinary Guard, the old metal models. And you've got some Sisters of Battle in here in metal. You've got a whole lot of Blood Angels, and I think that Furioso is metal. Got some Blood Angels vehicles along the side here. And Ursa's Chaos off in the torn corners. But yeah, This battered old copy of White Dwarf was my first one, so it's kind of special to me, even though it is kind of destroyed. This has been a nice little trip down memory lane. Would I recommend reading this? If you can find it for a reasonable price, yeah. I would say reasonable price would probably be below retail, second hand. Below or up to, but certainly not anything really all that more than double. Like this retail back in the day for $10 for about $11 Australian. I wouldn't pay more than 20 to 25 for this brand new. And I would encourage people not to as well, not to pay too much for it either. Brand new. And if this makes it onto issue makes it onto Warhammer Plus, that'll be cool. It'd be nice if they bought all the old White Dwarfs. I'm not sure how many they have in archive though, because I don't know if GW actually has much of a White Dwarf archive. But it could be cool to see. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I figured I'd take a bit of a trip down memory lane and start off a White Dwarf retrospective reviews series. So yes, thanks for watching. Bye.